Bam, this is the first 3-game win streak for this team since early January. What has changed for you guys to allow you to get into this sort of groove lately?
Failure. But, we didn't let go of the rope. We've been preaching that, since we've been on that 10-game losing streak. Like I said, you never know what can happen. We didn't let go. Now we're streaking.
Speaking sort of, you mentioned about Davion, you called him Pitbull before, and he kind of just showed that. I mean, him and Age did really create a lot of energizing plays. Obviously, they play in the mid-court, got the big three there. Can you just kind of talk about their impact really off the bench?
I mean, you see it. It's those type of plays in between that. My bad. Hold your mic lower. It's those type of plays that, change the game that nobody will really pay attention to. Those are momentum swings for us, and we need those guys when they're on the ball and they're locked in. You can tell they're very disruptive, and they help us on that side of the ball.
It's a small sample size, but you guys are 4-2 when you and Khalil each have 10 rebounds in the same game. How much does it help to have a big who can help you control the boards and control possessions like that?
I get to take a couple plays off and boxing out. Nah, I mean, it's still a work in progress, but to see those type of numbers, and obviously we're glass seating together, and it just shows that the two big lineup can work.
Tyler, obviously in the first quarter they kind of start off there on a 12-2 kind of run, spoke all the timeout, then it really turned around after that. Can you just kind of talk about what led to that turnaround for you guys?
I mean, just settling into the game. Most importantly, getting stops on defense, turning in our stops into easy transition buckets, just getting out and running. And I think that's important. Continuing to come out of games faster is what we need to do. 12-2 start isn't acceptable. We can't put ourselves in that hole.
Spoelstra said that he didn't run a single play for you today, despite you having 36 points. What made your job so easy tonight to be able to get efficient shots, not despite not dominating the ball?
Just being aggressive on every catch. Really, that's it. Every time I caught the ball, looking to attack.
You're mentioning the off-the-ball part of it for you right now. How important is having Bam and Wiggs and all these different guys on the ball to kind of be aggressive, to kind of lead for your ability off the catch?
Yes, it's great. Those guys are great with the ball in their hands as well. So just being aggressive off every catch, every closeout situation is what I'm doing right now.
You guys even said during the losing streak, you still felt good about the direction of the team. Is there anything tangibly different in these 3 straight wins where you not only did what you did before but add something else?
I don't think so. I think obviously our sense of urgency was down in a couple of those losses. But other than that, I felt like we were in a lot of the games to win, and we just didn't win at the end. But the last 3 we've won. I think it's just process-oriented, and we just got to continue to stick with it.
Spo said that you were using these these aggressive defenders, whether it's Gary Payton or Daniels tonight. You're kind of using their aggression against them in a way. Is that something that you're thinking about, and what's kind of the approach behind that?
Trying to use just what you said. Use their aggressiveness against them. A lot of guys are putting their bodies on me, trying to be physical. So back cuts, different things like that, to free myself up, and also screening for other people, allowing my teammates to get open.
You just talk about the energy that you're seeing from H and Davion, especially that one kind of hustle play that led to the big 3. Can you just kind of talk about what those two are bringing?
We all know Davion and Haywood are elite defensive players. They can change the game defensively. When they're moving the needle like that on defense and making those efforts and locking down some of the other teams' opposing's best players, it's obviously a benefit for us. And they just got to continue to bring it, to stick with it, and we just got to continue to get better.
Davion, do you feel a specific tangible change in the winning streak? I know you guys said it's process-oriented. You felt it was trending in the right way. But what's changed these last 3 to also get W's?
Yeah, I think nothing. I don't know if anything's changed. I think that we've been playing really well, even though the losses. We just had to figure out how to win games at the end. I feel like, defensively, honestly, we're better. We're being more disruptive. We're helping each other more. I think we're just kind of more connected. We got like more of a chemistry now. We've been through the fire, and now it's shown that we can in games.
Dave, I'm looking kind of at your career as a whole. Your first 2 years, I imagine you wanted to shoot the ball better, but you've been a pretty good shooter for the last two, and obviously shooting really well here. Spoelstra is saying you still get a lot of open looks based on how defenses play you. Are you surprised sometimes that defenses are still leaving you open sometimes?
Nah, not really. I feel like I can get in the paint anytime I want, and I feel like I can make the right play, and teams know that, so they're gonna dare me to shoot. I just got to keep trusting my work and believing all the work that I put in, and just keep shooting the ball no matter if I miss or make.
Davion, that play at half court where you're hustling for the ball led to the three. Spoke about those inspiring plays that kind of gets everybody else going on the team. Can you just the thought process during that play? What were you thinking, and just how it inspired everybody else?
I feel like they were hitting tough shots. We were kind of scoring back and forth, and we couldn't really get away from them. They were making the right plays. They was getting out fast. I just tried to bring energy play to kind of stop the momentum from them. They ended up calling the timeout after that, and I feel like they kind of changed the game a little bit.
All right, we're good with the media. You guys can exit. Davion, stay here, please. And students, if you have questions, please raise your hand and wait for the microphones.
Davion, you seem to be a seamless fit since you joined the Heat. You're increasing your shooting percentages and your numbers. What can you attribute to your recent success since you joined the Heat?
That's a good question. Honestly, I think that, just day one, I feel like I was going to fit the Miami Heat, just the way they play, what they bring, the energy, the culture that they have here. I kind of knew I was going to fit in, even the first day I stepped here. But honestly, just keep being myself. Obviously, I think I'm doing a really good job here, so just keep being myself, honestly.
Hello. So Coach was just talking to us about how you've had to, as a team, overcome a lot of injuries this past season. In the most recent 6 games, you've scored over 10 points. How have you personally had to adjust your game to deal with the injuries that the team has been facing?
I think injury is always going to happen. We have so many games. We have 82 of them. So we know there's going to be injuries, and there's going to be people are going to get sick. There's always going to be a time where we don't probably have our full roster. And for me, I just try to just be more aggressive, especially if we got our leading scorers out. Try to get more points on the board, try to get more easy buckets, try to get more shots from my teammates, more shots. But that's kind of just the way I play.
Davion, historically, you play pretty well against Atlanta. How has tonight's game kind of allowed you to mesh well with the team as well, coming off the bench instead of starting back in February? And how does that bode well for your confidence and for the team's confidence going forward at this final stretch of the season?
For me, I don't really look at starting or coming off the bench. I feel like, as long as I get to play, it's all that kind of matters to me. I approach the game the same way. And as far as Atlanta, we kind of knew that they're a little bit smaller inside, so they knew they was going to kind of help off me, obviously, because I haven't shot the ball in previous years well. So, honestly, I just go out there with confidence and keep shooting the ball, and I was making it tonight.
Anything else?
So Coach Spoelstra also mentioned about your loose ball play, and you said how it kind of inspired the guys. So what could you say about just being a spark plug coming off the bench and what Coach Spoelstra has meant to you since you've transferred to the team?
Yeah, I think that coming off the bench, you also got to, you got to change the game in a way. There's always going to be some times where the starting lineup come off slow sometimes, or even if they come out strong, you got to keep that energy going. And we started off slow at the beginning of the game, so I tried to come in and just change the tempo of the game, change the pace, get easy shots, defend, kind of disrupt their offense, kind of just change the game with my energy, and I think I did that tonight.
Hi, Coach Spoelstra was talking also about how the team, sometimes something good can come out of trials and tribulations that, teams either separate or come together. Can you talk about the team chemistry, with all you guys have been through, how the team chemistry is right now?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that, being in the middle of the season where you trade an important piece. Obviously, you trade one of the best players on the team, so there's going to be a different dynamic. There's going to be where our chemistry is not connected. We don't really know each other well. We know each other's game. We're still trying to figure out who's going to make the right plays at the end of the game. A lot of things like that you're kind of thinking and just not playing. And I think that it showed in those 10 games that we lost. We're kind of just thinking more than just playing now. I feel like now we're playing free. We kind of knows what we're going to do. We kind of know what positions we're going to be in. I feel like those losses are good for us because coming to the end of the season, we've been through the adversity. We kind of know what it takes to win a game, and I think that we're going to do that in the postseason. Thank y'all.
Coach, could you just talk about that again? Starting a little slow in that first quarter, 12-2 start, and then turning it around for the rest of the game. Can you just talk?
Well, we definitely have developed some grit and resilience. Even if a team will start off, like they did, and you do have to credit them. That's how they play. They play fast. It got us on our heels right away. They had 10 in transition just before we could even blink, before I could even call that first time out. But we settled into it. Both teams knew the importance of this game. That's what you have to kind of enjoy about, this time of year and these games. You hope that it brings out the best in you. And it definitely brought out a different level in us from that point on. The defensive activity was solid. A lot of guys made contributions. The play of the game, my mind was Davion's loose ball just reminded me of Pella's play, and then it led to the H3. That just inspired everybody. You just love that kind of energy. Bam played the whole fourth quarter, and then, Tyler was so efficient. And the best part about it, he did this entire game mostly off the ball. I didn't run one specific play for him. He did the 36 just on the move within the context of the game. He's learning how to manipulate when guys are really being aggressive with him, that he can be a great screener. He can play off the ball. He can back cut. He can do a lot of those different things, and that's great growth to see.
The rotation's always changing, but 2 straight games I go with those primary three of Kyle, Davion, and Haywood. What do you like about what those 3 guys are providing?
Yeah, I'll start with Davion and H. They've been giving us this kind of burst off the bench, and I mentioned that a couple games ago that your second unit, you want the energy to change. When your second unit comes in, it should feel different. And those 2 guys, are embracing that kind of role. They're thriving in it, and I think everybody can feel it. The tempo changes, the defensive activity changes with both of them. They're enjoying that, and it's inspiring everybody else. And then Kyle's giving us something, different. He's a point guard, so he can set the table. He can kind of control tempo. He can control and manipulate the defense. He can do it from the point guard position. He can do it in the low post. He just has a knack, for those kind of plays and nuances. And, we want to lean into that because it seems like a good fit, right now with that second unit for him to be able to, just kind of, manipulate and orchestrate, with his experience and IQ.
Davion obviously came in as a defender. There were always questions about his offense and his shooting. We see the three-point shooting today. How much of a bonus is that and a boost when you also get offense from him? And is this maybe a little bit surprising, the way he's been able to shoot the ball?
We wanted to be open, to the possibilities. You never really know somebody until you get them into your building. He's got a great work ethic. He's always in the gym. I think it starts with him just embracing this role, which he's been great about. Just changing the energy off the bench. We want him to be super aggressive off the dribble. He can get into the paint. He's fast. On any given night, he's arguably the fastest guy on the floor. So we want him to access that and use it and put pressure on the opponent, getting in the paint, making plays, and then he has the green light. He's always open, from three. He works on it all the time, but I think he gains confidence because everybody's feeding him confidence, but he's getting into the paint. He's making other plays. When you get to the rim, you make plays. You see the ball go in. It makes the three ball, makes the basket seem a little bit bigger. But we all like what he's doing right now.
And the other part of that equation is Haywood was out of the rotation for a little while. Why now? Why at this moment for Haywood that it seems like for the first time in a while he's locked back in the rotation? What's
it was
changed?
actually this game, the last time we played Atlanta. Look, we've had a lot of things happen this year, and I do really appreciate the resilience of this group, and it's such a beautiful opportunity to face some kind of adversity together. I mean, come on, it's professional sports, so it's not like we're working in a hospital or something, but you collectively have an opportunity to face something uncomfortable, and as long as you don't separate and actually the opposite happens, you come closer together from it, you actually can have something beautiful on the other side of some really hard things in this profession. So there have been a lot of injuries, trades, guys not playing great. Everybody's had their opportunity, but right now we're starting to get a little bit of consistency in the rotation, and we're just going to go with that.
Toward the end of February, the Atlanta, Indiana, that 2-game stretch shot great. And then these last 2 games, obviously, incredibly well. Obviously, when you're hot, you're hot. But is there anything process-wise to the offense that you can kind of put your finger on when you have stretches like that?
Well, yeah, like I said before the game, the process really, we started to see it, gaining traction, 3-4 weeks ago. Yes, we had to conquer some demons in the fourth quarter. But you take those first 3 quarters, that offense that's the vision of where we wanted this thing going. It's not going to be all perfect, we're trying to put this thing together in a short period of time. And with some of the injuries and Wiggs being out, and we're not making that as an excuse, it's just that's kind of the reality. Some of these things take time, but we're seeing tremendous progress with our offense. And it's not just based on the result of the wins the last 3 games. Our fourth guard offense was better tonight, but the process was better. The last 2 games it was better. Even before that, the Houston game, I saw a better process. There was pain from the loss, but the process was better, and you keep on doing it and doing it consistently, then eventually, hopefully, the karma, changes.
Coach, it's a small sample size, but you guys are 4-2 when Khalil and Bam each have 10 rebounds in the same game. How much does that help you guys just with everything else that you want to do defensively, controlling possessions for offense?
So tell them, rebound. But, it's not just those two. Those guys will rebound. It's one of the biggest needle movers for us when we rebound. And it's both on both sides of the floor. Offensive rebounding. We're really working on that as well. Trying to get ourselves second opportunities. But when we defend and we rebound, our record is amazing. They know how to rebound, so it takes a full effort.
Last question.
You mentioned Tyler working off the ball a little bit there, but he's got into the paint quite a bit in this game, did most of his damage with 2-pointers. How have you seen him grow just with the shot profile and how he's getting to those shots in the paint, and then kind of the decision-making part of that?
Look, he did the first half of the season. It was the shot profile that we had laid out during the summer. Scouting reports get implemented. Wiggs was out, so he had to become a guy that just generates some offense for us, and a lot of those things are going to be mid-range or wherever you can get an open crack in the defense, on a floater or things like that. And he's developed that skill set. What I really like what he's doing right now is he's playing off the ball, off the catch, and he's using the other opposing defenders' aggressiveness against them. in catch and goes, and he's so skilled that he's going to make you pay if you're moving against his catch. And that's part of his evolution. And then if that scouting report changes, then he can still do it from all the three-point line or on the catch, or if Wiggs gets it going and they start sending more attention to him. All of this is trending in a good way for our team. All right, thank you.